Very good evening, everyone. Very happy to be here, and thanks for inviting me for this event, and happy to represent my organization, School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University. Before starting, I would like to acknowledge the First Nation people as traditional custodians and owners of this land, and their strong resilience and connection to the land and community. I pay my respect to them and their culture and elders past and present. It's not just acknowledgement. I have something to do with this one during my presentation, and I can say the core of my presentation is this acknowledgement and respect. I will show you why and how. Okay, my topic is a bit different, and I'm going to talk about sustainable tourism concept. What's sustainable tourism? Sustainable tourism, like overall sustainability concept, started almost 5 decades ago, and we have different definitions and evolved during decades. We started from intergenerational concept, keep and maintain resources for future generation, and then we moved to balance between economic, social, and environmental aspect. We added governance aspect. Sustainable tourism is the same. So we have all of these definitions in the concept of sustainable tourism. But tonight, I want to speak a bit about sustainable tourism from a bit different lens. Okay, here, let me give some fact about tourism. Tourism is one of the largest economic sector in the world. More than 10% of GDP come from tourism. 10% of job is created by tourism sector. Tourism bring people together, to share their experience and building understanding between culture and peace. Tourism improve well-being and quality of life of people, including both tourists, we travel to improve our well-being, and the local community, and many more positive side and benefit of tourism. Here, I would like to just give a summary of economic impact in Australian context and West Australia. 2018 and 19, contribution of tourism to Australian GDP was 3.1, but during COVID dropped because of restriction and the closing borders, and now increasing again and is about 2.5 in Australia. But in Western Australia, this is a bit higher. Before COVID was 3.9, and now is 2.8, and is growing very fast, reached to before COVID, right? And contribution to job in Australia was 5.1, and after COVID is 4.5, and in Western Australia is higher, is 6.8, and before COVID was 7.1. So we can see significant economic contribution of tourism in Australian context and West Australia. But, question mark. Tourism is not without negative impact. Tourism contributes 8% globally to CO2 emission. Tourism has negative environmental impact in land, in destinations. Over-tourism led to disturbing local people. Probably recently you heard about some over-tourism, some protests in very big destination in the world. BBC released a video showing that people protest against tourists in Barcelona and say tourists go home. And we have this problem in some other destination, big destination. We had before COVID. During COVID, we had zero tourism stop. Many people talk about, oh, we need to develop a new business model for tourism. But after COVID, we came back to what we did before that, before COVID, right? So we face over-tourism in many destinations, and this disturbs people's life, local community life. Tourism can increase living cost, can create traffic, and commodification of culture, crime, increasing crime. So this is negative side of tourism, right? Here is just a figure for carbon footprint and CO2 emission, and these 8% come from different parts of industry, and the main part come from transport. So, what's sustainable tourism? Sustainable tourism, based on this lens that we look at sustainability and tourism, is to maximize positive impact and minimize negative impact of tourism in destinations. So, this is a destination-based approach. In each destination, what we can do to improve, to increase, to maximize positive impact that we have, economic, social, and environmental impact, and at the same time remove or minimize negative impact. What we can do. If we do something for this maximization and minimization, increasing positive and decreasing negative impact, so we are in sustainable tourism direction and sustainability direction for tourism. Here is 17 SDG. Tonight is about this 17 SDG. Tourism has been mentioned only 3 times in SDG 8, 12, and 14, and in one target, but tourism can contribute to all SDGs, all 17 SDGs, positively and negatively. We have to identify those contributions and see how we can minimize negative one, right? So this SDG can be a good framework to understand what we do in destination and how we can go for positive. We can identify positive and negative one and increase positive and minimize negative impact. Here, there are some examples how tourism can contribute to SDG positively and negatively. I'm not going through because it takes time. This is framework developed by Australian government last year, 2023, November. Released this framework. This is sustainable tourism framework for Australian context. Here you can see there are 4 pillars: respecting culture, positive social impact, environmental and climate action, and taking a managed approach. If we look at all these aspects, what comes to your mind? This is a destination-based approach. When we talk about protecting or respecting culture, what culture we refer to? Culture of local people. When we talk about social impact, what social impact we think? Social impact on local community and destination. And when we talk about environmental action, climate action, and environmental protection, we refer to environment of destination. So this is a destination-based approach. And if we go based on this destination approach, there is possibility to go toward sustainability. I'm saying possibility because sustainability is not a new concept. We started sustainability in 1970s, right? And before that. But sustainability, the word of sustainability and the concept was coined in 1970s. Now is 50 years after that. Where we are. In tourism, I can say we are in very, very, very early stage, after 50 years. So we need to have a paradigm shift to understand the concept of sustainability. In Edith Cowan University, we have a few projects based on this lens, based on this destination-based sustainability and sustainable tourism, destination-based approach. We are developing a governance ecosystem for destination to involve all stakeholders in the process of tourism development, management, and monitoring. I think it's the same for other contexts. We need to have an integrated system or ecosystem that all stakeholders work together to move towards sustainability. And here, all stakeholders in this ecosystem need to work together to maximize those positive impact and minimize negative impact in destination level. Another project that we are working is Sustainable Tourism Index. We develop a comprehensive index by focusing on a few criteria, relevance, of course, relevance to SDG and the pillars of sustainability, but these two are very critical and important. We measure sustainability of destination from perspective of main stakeholders, including local people, businesses, governments, of course, and tourists. Addition to objective indicator. So, it's not only measuring based on some objective indicators without considering perception of people. So subjective indicators and perception of main stakeholder include in this index. So this is one of the main difference of this index with available indices in the world. And another one is including these four main group of stakeholders. So we measure from subjective and objective with the subjective and objective indicators and from perspective of four main stakeholders. Here is some available indices that we have in the world: European Commission 2016, UNWTO 2004, GSTC 2019. And this is a framework developed by Australian government last year. All of this framework mainly focus on objective indicator, not perception of stakeholders. And it's very critical to understand because first speaker talked about well-being. Well-being is a key for different stakeholders that involve in tourism for sustainability, right? How we can measure well-being, we need to know their perception and their needs. So I'm not going through the different formula. We have the different indicators for 5 dimensions of sustainability, not 3: economic, social, environmental, and we break down governance to technology and political dimensions. So we measure all these dimensions from perspective of main stakeholder, and we can calculate score for each destination, and we can provide recommendation for policymaker and tourism planner and local authority to see which part of sustainability in destination need focus more, and which part actually we have good progress and good performance. So this can be a good, this scorecard can be used to rank destination and also can be a good tool for policy development. Finish, just 1 minute. Sustainability index for tourism and businesses. This can be used for ESG development. Why we develop another index? We have many different indices for measuring sustainability of businesses. Because hospitality and tourism is a people-oriented business. So our customers, guests, hotel guests, and tourists are part of this assessment. Without their assessment, their performance, positive and negative impact of our customers, we cannot measure sustainability, we cannot evaluate sustainability of our businesses. So we are developing new index. We are focusing on pro-environmental behavior and factor influencing on pro-environmental behavior. And last, not least, and probably the most important part, I put this one, the last slide, to compare with first one that we acknowledge, and I acknowledge and respect culture and the owner of the land. Resident are the owner of destination. So we develop tourism for them, not for tourists. So their perception matter most. So we do resident perception study to understand their needs and their perception and the impact of their perception on quality and the impact of tourism on their quality of life and well-being. And we think this is a key point for sustainable tourism in destination. Thank you very much.